EJAE sang in a small cafe without knowing a global star was listening. The aroma of roasting coffee beans, a fragrance both comforting and stimulating, hung heavy in the air of Café Lune, a small, unassuming establishment nestled in a quiet corner of Seoul's bustling Gangnam district. Rain lashed against the large picture windows, blurring the neon lights of the city into hazy, impressionistic strokes of color. Inside, the cafe was a haven of warmth, the gentle murmur of conversations a soothing counterpoint to the storm raging outside. EJ sang, a young woman barely out of her teens, nervously adjusted the microphone stand. Tonight was her first open mic night at Café Lune, a tiny stage in her dream of becoming a singer. EJ's hands trembled as she picked up her well-worn acoustic guitar. She had been practicing for weeks, pouring her heart and soul into the songs she had written. Each lyric, each chord, was a piece of her, vulnerable and exposed. The small crowd, a mix of regulars, students, and the odd tourist seeking refuge from the rain, seemed indifferent, lost in their own worlds. EJ took a deep breath, closed her eyes for a moment, and began to play. Her voice, initially hesitant, gained strength and confidence as she progressed. It was a voice that belied her small frame, rich and resonant with a hint of melancholy. She sang of love and loss, of dreams and disappointments, of the quiet beauty she found in the everyday. Her lyrics were raw and honest, reflecting the struggles and aspirations of her generation. Unbeknownst to EJ, tucked away in a dimly lit corner booth, sat Cha Eun-woo, the global superstar. He was instantly recognizable, even disguised beneath a baseball cap and oversized sunglasses. He'd come to the cafe seeking a moment of anonymity, a brief escape from the relentless glare of the spotlight. His security detail, two hulking figures in plain clothes, discreetly scanned the room, ensuring his privacy. Cha Eun-woo was exhausted. Weeks of relentless touring, promotional appearances, and recording sessions had left him drained, both physically and emotionally. The constant attention, the endless demands, had begun to feel suffocating. He longed for authenticity, for genuine connection, something he found increasingly difficult to find in his carefully curated world. He was sipping his Americano, lost in thought, when EJ began to sing. Initially, he barely registered the music. It was just background noise, another layer in the cacophony of the city. But as EJ's voice gained strength, as her lyrics began to paint a vivid picture of youthful yearning, Cha Eun-woo found himself drawn in. He lowered his coffee cup and focused his attention on the small figure on the stage. He was captivated. EJ's voice was unique, raw, and undeniably talented. Her lyrics resonated with him, reminding him of the dreams he had held before the weight of fame had settled upon his shoulders. He saw in her a spark of genuine artistry, a passion that seemed untainted by the cynicism and commercialism that permeated the entertainment industry. The cafe owner, a middle-aged man named Mr. Kim, noticed Cha Eun-woo's intense interest. He had recognized the superstar the moment he walked in, but he had made a point of respecting his privacy. Now, seeing the look on Cha Eun-woo's face as he listened to EJ, Mr. Kim felt a surge of pride. He had always believed in EJ's talent, and he knew that this could be her big break. As EJ finished her first song, a smattering of applause filled the cafe. Cha Eun-woo clapped enthusiastically, his eyes fixed on the young singer. EJ, flustered by the attention, mumbled a quick thank you and launched into her second song, a more upbeat tune about the joys of friendship. After her second song, a nervous energy pulsed through EJ. She glanced at the small crowd, her eyes darting around the room. They landed on Cha Eun-woo. Even with the cap and sunglasses, she recognized him instantly. Her heart skipped a beat. A global superstar was listening to her? Her mind raced. She nearly fumbled the chords to her next song, a ballad about unrequited love. She struggled to maintain her composure, her voice wavering slightly. The weight of Cha Eun-woo's gaze felt immense, almost unbearable. He was a judge, a gatekeeper, someone who could make or break her career. As she sang, she imagined him dissecting her performance, analyzing her vocal technique, scrutinizing her lyrics. She pictured him dismissing her as just another aspiring singer, lost in the sea of talent that flooded Seoul. The pressure was overwhelming. Cha Eun-woo, however, wasn't judging her. He was simply listening, appreciating the honesty and vulnerability in her voice. He saw her nervousness, her self-doubt, but he also saw her unwavering passion. He admired her courage, her willingness to put herself out there, to share her art with the world. He remembered a time when he felt that same fear, that same vulnerability. When EJAE finished her set, she rushed off the stage, her face flushed. She retreated to a small table in the corner, trying to disappear into the shadows. Mr. Kim approached her, a broad smile on his face. "EJAE, you were wonderful," he exclaimed. That Cha Eun-woo seemed really impressed. EJAE blushed even harder. "He was just being polite," she mumbled, avoiding his gaze. "Nonsense," Mr. Kim insisted. "I saw the way he was looking at you. He was genuinely moved by your music." Suddenly, one of Cha Eun-woo's security guards approached their table. EJAE's heart leaped into her throat. "Excuse me," the guard said, his voice low and professional. "Mr. Cha would like to speak with you." EJAE's eyes widened in disbelief. She glanced at Mr. Kim, who gave her an encouraging nod. With trembling legs, she followed the guard to Cha Eun-woo's booth. Cha Eun-woo stood up as she approached, extending his hand. "Hello, EJAE sang," he said, his voice warm and sincere. "I really enjoyed your performance. You have a beautiful voice and your lyrics are very moving." EJAE was speechless. She stammered a greeting, her mind still reeling from the shock of the encounter. "I know this is probably unexpected," Cha Eun-woo continued, "but I was wondering if you'd be interested in meeting with my producer. I think you have a lot of potential, and I'd love to see what we could create together." EJAE stared at him, her mouth agape. "Are you serious?" she finally managed to ask. Cha Eun-woo smiled. "Absolutely. I believe in your talent. I think you have something special to offer the world." He handed her a business card. "Give my producer a call. He'll set up a meeting." EJAE took the card, her fingers trembling. It was a moment she had dreamed of for years, but she never truly believed it would happen. Over the next few months, EJAE worked closely with Cha Eun-woo's producer, honing her craft and developing her unique sound. She learned about the complexities of the music industry, the challenges and the rewards. Cha Eun-woo remained a supportive mentor, offering guidance and encouragement along the way. He even invited her to perform as an opening act at one of his concerts. It was a daunting experience, playing in front of thousands of screaming fans, but EJAE rose to the occasion. She poured her heart and soul into her performance, and the crowd responded with thunderous applause. EJAE's career took off. Her songs climbed the charts, her music videos went viral, and she became a rising star in her own right. She never forgot the small cafe where it all began, the place where she had dared to dream, where Cha Eun-woo had heard her sing. Years later, EJAE returned to Café Loon. The cafe was exactly as she remembered it, cozy and inviting, the aroma of roasting coffee beans still filling the air. Mr. Kim greeted her with a warm hug, his eyes twinkling with pride. "EJAE, look at you now," he exclaimed. "A global superstar. I always knew you had it in you." EJAE smiled. "I couldn't have done it without you, Mr. Kim," she said. "And without Café Loon. This place will always hold a special place in my heart." As she sat in the cafe, sipping a cup of coffee, EJAE reflected on her journey. She had faced countless obstacles, overcome numerous challenges, but she had never given up on her dream. She had learned that success wasn't just about talent, it was about perseverance, resilience, and the willingness to take risks. She also learned about the importance of kindness and generosity. Cha Eun-woo, a global superstar, had taken a chance on her, a complete unknown. He had used his platform to elevate her, to give her a voice. His act of kindness had changed her life forever. EJAE realized that fame and fortune weren't the ultimate goals. The true reward was the ability to connect with others through her music, to inspire and uplift them, to make a difference in the world. She had found her purpose, her passion, and she was determined to use it to make the world a better place. The rain had stopped, and the sun was beginning to peek through the clouds. The city was slowly waking up, buzzing with energy and anticipation. EJAE sang, the girl who once sang in a small cafe, now a global star in her own right, stepped out into the sunlight, ready to face the future, her heart filled with gratitude and hope. She knew that the journey ahead would be long and challenging, But she was ready for it. She had found her voice, and she was determined to use it to sing her song to the world. The memory of that rainy night, of singing in Café Lune, unaware that a global star was listening, would forever remind her that dreams can come true, that anything is possible if you believe in yourself and never give up. And that sometimes, the smallest of actions can have the biggest impact. The kindness of a stranger, the chance encounter in a small cafe, can change the course of a life. And that, she thought, was a beautiful thing. EJAE continued to visit Café Lune whenever her hectic schedule allowed. It was her grounding force, a reminder of where she came from and the authenticity she strived to maintain. She made it a point to support local artists, using her influence to shine a light on other aspiring musicians. She organized open mic nights at Café Lune, inviting established artists to perform alongside newcomers, creating a platform for emerging talent. One evening, she was sitting in her usual corner booth at Café Lune, sipping a latte and listening to a young guitarist strumming a melancholic tune. She recognized the nervous energy in his posture, the slight tremor in his voice. It mirrored her own experience from years ago. After his set, she approached him, extending her hand. "Hello," she said, her voice warm and encouraging. "I'm EJAE Sang. I really enjoyed your performance." The young guitarist's eyes widened in disbelief. "You're EJAE Sang," he stammered. "I'm a huge fan." EJAE smiled. "Thank you. I know it can be nerve-wracking to perform in front of an audience. I've been there." She offered him some advice, sharing her own experiences and struggles. She encouraged him to keep writing, to keep practicing, to never give up on his dream. She even offered to connect him with her producer. The young guitarist was overwhelmed with gratitude. He thanked her profusely, his eyes shining with hope. As EJAE watched him walk away, she felt a sense of fulfillment. She was paying it forward, giving back to the community that had supported her. Her relationship with Cha Eun-woo evolved from mentor and protege to a deep and enduring friendship. They collaborated on several projects, their voices blending seamlessly, their artistic visions complementing each other. They challenged each other, inspired each other, and supported each other through the ups and downs of their careers. Cha Eun-woo often spoke about how EJAE had reignited his passion for music. He had become jaded, disillusioned by the pressures of fame. But EJAE's genuine artistry, her unwavering commitment to her craft, had reminded him of why he had started making music in the first place. One day, Cha Eun-woo called EJAE with an exciting proposition. He had been invited to perform at a prestigious international music festival, and he wanted her to join him on stage. It was a huge opportunity, a chance to showcase her talent to a global audience. EJAE was thrilled and nervous. Performing at such a high-profile event was a dream come true, but it also came with immense pressure. She knew that the world would be watching, judging her every move. She spent weeks preparing for the performance, rehearsing tirelessly, perfecting her vocals and her stage presence. She worked closely with Cha Eun-woo, refining their harmonies and choreography. They wanted to create a performance that was both visually stunning and emotionally resonant. The day of the festival arrived, and the atmosphere was electric. The air crackled with anticipation as thousands of fans gathered to watch their favorite artists perform. EJAE felt a surge of adrenaline as she stepped onto the stage, the bright lights blinding her momentarily. But as she began to sing, her nervousness faded away. She focused on the music, on the lyrics, on the connection with Cha Eun-woo. Their voices blended together in perfect harmony, their energy filling the stadium. The crowd erupted in applause, their cheers echoing through the night. EJAE felt a sense of euphoria, a feeling of pure joy. She had overcome her fears, embraced the challenge, and delivered a performance that she would never forget. After the festival, EJAE and Cha Eun-woo celebrated their success at Café Lune. They sat in their usual corner booth, reminiscing about their journey, their dreams, and their accomplishments. "You know," Cha Eun-woo said, his voice thoughtful, "that night I heard you sing here, it changed my life. I was lost, disillusioned. Your music reminded me why I loved what I did." EJAE smiled. "You changed my life too, Cha Eun-woo. You gave me a chance, a platform. I'll never forget that." They raised their glasses in a toast to their friendship, to their music, and to the power of dreams. They knew that the journey ahead would be long and unpredictable, but they were ready for it. They had each other, they had their music, and they had the unwavering support of their fans. EJAE continued to use her platform to advocate for causes she believed in, supporting organizations that promoted education, equality, and environmental sustainability. She became a role model for young people around the world, inspiring them to pursue their dreams, to stand up for what they believed in, and to make a positive impact on the world. Years passed, and EJAE's star continued to rise. She won numerous awards, sold millions of albums, and toured the world. But she never forgot her roots, never forgot the small cafe where it all began. She often returned to Café Loon, not as a celebrity, but as EJAE sang, the girl who loved to sing. She would sit in her usual corner booth, sipping a latte and listening to the music, remembering the night when a global star had heard her sing, the night that changed her life forever. And sometimes, she would quietly join in, her voice blending with the music, her heart filled with gratitude and joy. The aroma of roasting coffee beans, the gentle murmur of conversations, the warmth of the cafe, it was all a reminder that even the smallest of places can hold the biggest of dreams, and that anything is possible if you believe in yourself and never give up. And that sometimes, the most unexpected encounters can lead to the most extraordinary journeys. The legacy of that night lived on, not just in EJAE's success, but in the ripple effect of kindness and opportunity that she created. She proved that talent, combined with genuine connection and a willingness to pay it forward, could truly change the world, one song, one act of kindness, one small cafe at a time. The end. EJAE, now an established artist, made it a tradition to mentor young, aspiring musicians. She wasn't just offering a leg up, she was actively creating a network of support, a community where artists could collaborate, learn from each other, and thrive without the cutthroat competition that often defined the industry. She remembered the isolation she felt before Cha Eun-woo recognized her talent, and she was determined to ensure that no other young artist felt that way. One afternoon, while reviewing submissions for her mentorship program, a particular video caught her eye. It was a young man playing a traditional Korean instrument called the EJAE, a zither-like instrument with 12 strings. His name was Min Jun, and his music was hauntingly beautiful, infused with a deep sense of cultural heritage and personal longing. EJAE was immediately captivated. Min Jun's talent was undeniable, but his video had a raw, unpolished quality that suggested he lacked resources and guidance. She knew she had to meet him. She contacted Min Jun and invited him to Café Loon. He arrived looking nervous and overwhelmed, clutching his EJAE case tightly. EJAE greeted him with a warm smile and led him to her usual corner booth. "Thank you so much for seeing me, EJAE," Min Jun said, his voice barely above a whisper. "I can't believe you actually watched my video." "Your music is incredible, Min Jun," EJAE replied. "It's rare to hear someone play the EJAE with such passion and skill. I was truly moved." Min Jun blushed, clearly touched by her words. He explained that he had been playing the EJAE since he was a child, learning from his grandmother, a renowned musician in her own right. However, she had recently passed away, leaving him feeling lost and uncertain about his future. He dreamed of sharing his music with the world, but he didn't know where to start. EJAE listened intently, recognizing the familiar pangs of self-doubt and the yearning for connection. She shared her own story, recounting her early struggles and the pivotal moment when Cha Eun-woo had heard her sing at Café Loon. "Don't give up on your dream, Min Jun," she said, her voice filled with conviction. "Your music is a gift. You have a responsibility to share it with the world." She offered to mentor Min Jun, providing him with guidance, resources, and opportunities to showcase his talent. She introduced him to her producer, helped him record a demo, and even invited him to perform as an opening act at one of her concerts. Min Jun's career took off, much like EJAE's had. His unique blend of traditional Korean music and contemporary influences resonated with audiences around the world. He became a celebrated artist, preserving and promoting Korean culture through his music. He never forgot EJAE's kindness and generosity. He credited her with believing in him when he doubted himself, with giving him the confidence to pursue his dreams. He, too, became a mentor, supporting other young musicians and paying it forward. Meanwhile, Cha Eun-woo continued to evolve as an artist. He explored new genres, experimented with different sounds, and used his platform to address social issues. He remained a close friend and confidant to EJAE, their bond strengthened by shared experiences and mutual respect. One year, Cha Eun-woo decided to organize a charity concert to raise funds for underprivileged children. He invited EJAE and Minjun to perform alongside him, creating a powerful trio of artists united by their talent and their commitment to making a difference. The concert was a resounding success, raising millions of dollars for the charity. The highlight of the evening was a collaborative performance by EJAE, Cha Eun-woo, and Minjun, a fusion of pop, contemporary, and traditional Korean music that left the audience spellbound. After the concert, they gathered at Café Loon, celebrating their success and reflecting on their journey. Mr. Kim, the cafe owner, beamed with pride, watching the three stars interact with each other, their laughter filling the cozy space. "You know," Mr. Kim said, his eyes twinkling, "this cafe has seen a lot of dreams come true. It's amazing to see how far you've all come." EJAE smiled. "Café Loon will always be special to us, Mr. Kim. It's where it all began." Cha Eun-woo nodded in agreement. "It's a reminder that even the smallest of places can hold the biggest of possibilities." Minjun added, "And that kindness and opportunity can change the world." As they sat there, sipping their coffees and sharing stories, they realized that their journey was far from over. They had a responsibility to continue using their voices to inspire, to uplift, and to make a positive impact on the world. They formed a foundation, dedicated to supporting young artists and promoting cultural exchange. They organized workshops, scholarships, and mentorship programs, providing opportunities for aspiring musicians from all backgrounds to pursue their dreams. They traveled the world, sharing their music and their message of hope. They visited schools, hospitals, and refugee camps, bringing joy and comfort to those in need. They used their influence to advocate for peace, equality, and justice. Years later, EJAE, Cha Eun-woo, and Minjun were recognized with prestigious awards for their contributions to music and philanthropy. They stood on the stage, accepting their awards, their hearts filled with gratitude and humility. They dedicated their awards to the young artists they had mentored, to the communities they had served, and to the memory of Mr. Kim, who had passed away peacefully in his sleep, leaving behind a legacy of kindness and compassion. They returned to Café Loon, now a landmark destination for music lovers from around the world. They sat in their usual corner booth, reminiscing about their journey, their dreams, and their accomplishments. The aroma of roasting coffee beans still filled the air, the gentle murmur of conversations still echoed through the space, and the warmth of the cafe still enveloped them in a comforting embrace. EJAE closed her eyes, listening to the music, feeling the energy of the room. She realized that the story of Café Loon was not just about her, Cha Eun-woo, or Minjun. It was a story about the power of dreams, the importance of kindness, and the transformative potential of music. It was a story that would continue to inspire generations to come. And as long as there were young artists with dreams in their hearts and a song to sing, the story of Café Loon would never truly end. The sun dipped below the Seoul skyline, painting the sky in hues of orange and violet as EJAE sat at Café Loon, a worn leather-bound journal open in front of her. Though she was now a global icon, the small cafe remained her sanctuary, a place where she could shed the weight of fame and reconnect with her true self. Tonight, however, the familiar comfort was tinged with a sense of unease. She was grappling with a creative block, a frustrating silence that had descended upon her muse. The pressure to constantly innovate, to outdo her previous successes, was stifling her. She longed for the simple joy of creating music without the burden of expectation. Lost in thought, she barely noticed a young woman nervously approaching her table. The woman, who couldn't have been older than 20, held a crumpled piece of paper in her hand. "EJSSI," she stammered, her voice trembling. I don't want to bother you, but I had to try." EJAE looked up, her expression softening as she recognized the girl's genuine sincerity. "It's no bother at all," she said gently. "What can I do for you?" The young woman hesitated, then thrust the crumpled paper towards EJAE. "It's a song I wrote," she explained. "I know it's probably terrible, but you're my biggest inspiration. I just wanted you to see it." EJAE took the paper, her fingers brushing against the girl's hand. She unfolded it carefully, revealing handwritten lyrics in Hangul. The words were simple, but they resonated with a raw honesty that touched EJAE's heart. The song spoke of loneliness, of longing, of the struggle to find one's place in the world. "Thank you for sharing this with me," EJAE said, her voice sincere. "May I?" She gestured towards the small stage at the back of the cafe, where a lone microphone stood waiting. The young woman's eyes widened in disbelief. You want to sing it?" EJAE smiled. "If you don't mind. But I want you to sing it with me." Overwhelmed with emotion, the young woman could only nod, tears welling up in her eyes. EJAE led her to the stage, and together, they began to sing. The young woman's voice, initially hesitant and shaky, gained strength and confidence as she sang alongside her idol. Their voices blended together, filling the cafe with a haunting melody that resonated with everyone present. As they sang, EJAE felt a surge of inspiration, the creative block that had plagued her for weeks suddenly dissolving. The young woman's song had awakened something within her, a reminder of the power of vulnerability, of the importance of connecting with others through music. When they finished, the cafe erupted in applause. EJAE hugged the young woman tightly, her heart filled with gratitude. "Your song is beautiful," EJAE said. "You have a real gift. Don't ever stop writing." The young woman, whose name was Hannah, beamed with pride. "Thank you, EJAE," she said. "This is the best day of my life." EJAE spent the rest of the evening talking to Hannah, offering her advice and encouragement. She learned that Hannah was a struggling student who worked part-time at a convenience store to support her family. She had always dreamed of becoming a singer, but she lacked the resources and connections to pursue her passion. EJAE knew that she had to help Hannah. She offered to mentor her, providing her with vocal training, songwriting lessons, and opportunities to perform. She also connected her with her producer, who was immediately impressed by Hannah's talent. Hannah's career began to blossom under EJAE's guidance. She released her first single, which quickly climbed the charts, and she soon became a rising star in the Korean music scene. Meanwhile, EJAE found herself revitalized by her mentorship of Hannah. She rediscovered her passion for music, and she began to experiment with new sounds and styles. She collaborated with Hannah on several projects, their voices blending together in perfect harmony. One day, EJAE received an invitation to perform at a prestigious International Music Awards ceremony. She was thrilled, but she knew that she couldn't accept the invitation without Hannah. She contacted the organizers of the awards ceremony and requested that Hannah be included in the lineup. The organizers were initially hesitant, but EJAE insisted, arguing that Hannah was a rising star who deserved to be recognized. Finally, the organizers relented, and Hannah was invited to perform alongside EJAE at the awards ceremony. The night of the awards ceremony arrived, and the atmosphere was electric. EJAE and Hannah walked the red carpet together, their smiles radiating confidence and excitement. During their performance, they sang a duet, a powerful ballad about overcoming adversity and pursuing one's dreams. Their voices soared through the auditorium, captivating the audience and bringing them to their feet. After the performance, EJAE and Hannah received a standing ovation. They hugged each other tightly, their hearts filled with joy and gratitude. As they left the stage, they were approached by a renowned music producer from the United States. He was so impressed by their performance that he offered them a record deal on the spot. EJAE and Hannah accepted the offer, and they soon found themselves embarking on a new chapter in their careers. They traveled to the United States, recorded an album, and embarked on a world tour. Their music resonated with audiences around the world, and they quickly became international superstars. They used their platform to advocate for causes they believed in, supporting organizations that promoted education, equality, and environmental sustainability. Years passed, and EJAE and Hannah continued to inspire and uplift people through their music. They never forgot their roots, and they often returned to Café Loon to perform for their fans. One day, as they sat in their usual corner booth at Café Loon, sipping their coffees and reminiscing about their journey, EJAE turned to Hannah and said, "You know, Hannah, I never would have imagined that a crumpled piece of paper and a song could change our lives so much." Hannah smiled. "Me neither, EJAE," she said. "But I'm so grateful for everything that has happened. You taught me to never give up on my dreams, and you showed me that anything is possible if you believe in yourself." E.J. smiled back. And you reminded me of the power of music, Hannah, she said. You reminded me why I started singing in the first place. They raised their glasses in a toast, to their friendship, to their music, and to the magic of Café Loon. They knew that their journey was far from over, and they were excited to see what the future held. They were ready to continue inspiring the world, one song at a time. The warmth of Café Loon always felt like a familiar embrace, a stark contrast to the often sterile and demanding world of international stardom. E.J. glanced around, noticing Mr. Kim's daughter, Sujin, now managing the cafe with the same gentle demeanor as her father. Sujin caught her eye and offered a warm smile, a silent acknowledgement of their shared history. E.J. and Hannah were skittle.